once I realized everything was spiritual, I stopped taking stuff so personally. Like, once you realize that literally in Ephesians, it says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spirits and principalities. Once you really realize and lock in with the fact that every single thing is spiritual, every single thing is spiritual. Every single day, heaven and hell is fighting for your soul. So every single day, if you are a good person and people do not like you, that is spiritual. If you are a bad person, that is spiritual. If your homegirl is jealous of you, that's spiritual. If your boyfriend is cheating on you, that is spiritual. If you go to work and your coworkers do not like you, that is spiritual. If you walk into a building and see someone and y'all start talking, that's not a coincidence. That is spiritual. That's supposed to happen. Nothing is a coincidence. Things are supposed to happen. Everything is spiritual. So when I learned everything was spiritual, I literally stopped taking things to heart. I stopped taking things to heart when I realized that you were mean to me. You were a bad person to me. I'm not going to take that to heart because you're a bad person, period. You are a bad person to me, but you're a bad person to everybody. You're a bad person to yourself. And you have to look at these people. These people don't take care of themselves. They don't take care of their health. They don't sleep. They don't eat healthy. They don't take care of their bodies. They drink all day. They smoke all day. They put all these toxins in their body. They have sex with any and everybody. They don't even like themselves. So what makes you think they're going to like you? And I had to really sit with that and really had to ponder on that. Like a lot of things, I struggled with healing and forgiving people. But once I really sat there and was like, thought about it and really realized like these people are bad people to everybody. So this person that did this bad thing to me, they're bad to everyone they meet. So why am I taking it so offensively if they're just a bad person? They're bad people. And I have to blame myself in some circumstances because I stayed around these people. You cannot allow yourself to stay around people that continue to hurt you. You get your heart broken one time. Okay. You remove yourself. You do not stay in a situation that's going to continue to break your heart. That's friendships, relationships, family, the job, anywhere. You cannot, once you keep going back to the problem, you become the problem. You literally become the problem because how do you keep going back to a situation that's literally breaking your heart? How do you keep forgiving these people that keep doing the same thing? Obviously, they do not care about you or your feelings or your heart. And you're going to keep giving your energy to these people. You're going to keep spending time with them. We really have to sit and think about the things that we've allowed in our life before we want to place the blame on somebody else and realize that everything is 100% spiritual. Everything is spiritual. The people in my past that is not like me, they have characteristics of the people that did not like Jesus. And who am I supposed to be like? I'm supposed to walk like Jesus. That's what I do every day. I walk as much like Jesus as possible. So if you do not like me, I'm putting you in the same category as the ones that didn't like Jesus. So what Jesus tell us to do with them? You dust your feet with them and walk away. You do not waste your pearls on pigs. Why would I keep wasting my time on people that do not like me? Jesus didn't do that. Jesus came, said a word. If you listen, cool. If you didn't, he left you where you was at. He's not about to beg nobody to do nothing. He's going to present himself and he's going to give his word, help as many people as he can. But at some point, you got to walk away from the ones that want to stay in misery. People actually like and enjoy being miserable. And it's really sad. And you have to remove yourselves from those people because with the miserable people, they will bring you down. I promise you, I've seen it. I've done it. I've lived it. I've seen it all over. The negative and the miserable will bring you down to their level. They rarely elevate up. They will always bring you down. Always. So just remember, everything is spiritual and just forgive and forget and go about your day and remove yourself. Heal. What makes you happy? Figure that out. What makes you happy and just do things that make you happy. It's really simple.
Yeah, man, everything spiritual really is that deep. And I was just telling my mom this at the hospital earlier today. She's in there for E. coli of all things. And then she had a kidney infection or bladder infection, one of the two. And so I'm telling her that it's some type of spiritual attack, right? Because my mom's been having these back surgeries for the last few years. She's had 10 back surgeries. And I told her, I said, don't you think that this is spiritual? You've had 10 back surgeries and now you have to have another. I said, is there some type of unforgiveness in your heart that you need to be letting go of? Someone that you're mad at from your past or something like that? And as I told you guys before, she's come to the realization that things are a little bit more spiritual than what she thought they were, because even this situation that just happened in our family, she was asking me about something that happened with my brother. And I was telling her, I said, Mom, it's spiritual. I said, well, when it happened, he was riding, listening to Lil Uzi Vert. We all know Lil Uzi Vert. His name means Lucifer. And this was a song from 2017. So when my brother was in full blown addiction, riding, listening to this type of music in the streets. This was his theme music. And so for me in my past, what made me backslide was listening to music I had no business listening to. And so my brother had this backslide. My brother backslid the other day. And, this is no hate or anything to him. I love my brother to death. I'm just using this as an example because everything is spiritual. And my mom's like, well, what happened? And I said, well, he started listening to that Lil Uzi Vert music and the enemy started whispering in his ear. As soon as he opened that door for the enemy to come in, the enemy started telling him things in his ear. And he started feeling some type of way. He was speeding and cussing and driving real fast. And, he started scaring his wife with how fast he was driving. And just one thing led to another. And it was a rapid chain of events that led to a lot of bad stuff happening in a short period of time that he almost went to jail. And none of us saw it coming. And my mom's like, how did that even happen? And I'm like, it's the devil, Mom. Like, it's seriously the devil. And yeah, my brother came into agreement with it. We can't take that out of the equation. But when I talk to my brother on the phone and I'm hearing his voice and he's asking me to come pick him up, he's yelling at me, he's cussing at me, and he's just manifesting like all types of demons on the phone. And I'm just like, man, like this isn't normal. Like, how did you get to this point? And when I picked him up, I just see it. I saw it all over him that he had let the enemy in. And so this is why it's important to be covered by the blood of Jesus. Because even with this argument that I was having with my brother about this whole situation, my wife's in the background. She's like, you're talking to a demon. You're talking to a demon, like trying to keep me focused and on point. Instead, I'm letting the words that he's saying to me affect me and get me to get upset with him. And there's just no point in trying to argue when somebody's influenced by a demon, and my wife just in the background saying, de-escalate the situation, de-escalate the situation. And I wish that I would have heard her because Ephesians 6:12 tells us that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but we wrestle against forces and principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. So while that was my brother, that wasn't my brother talking to me. You know what I mean? So yes, guys, everything is spiritual and it really is that deep. And even the littlest of things that happens is going to be spiritual. Health issues, financial issues, poverty, all that stuff is always a spiritual attack. We live in a spiritual world created by a spiritual being, and everything that God does is supernatural. So why would we think that we wouldn't face any type of spiritual ramifications when that's exactly what this is a spiritual life? So that's going to do it for this one though, guys. I'll leave this link to this video. Her name is Kenray Lee in the description. That way I can give her credit for her work as well as to make it easy for you guys to follow her if that's what you choose to do. That's going to do it for this one though. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, God bless.